The last former Minneapolis police officer charged in the killing of George Floyd is found guilty. Tou Thao learned his fate today from the same judge who found Derek Chauvin guilty 2 years ago. In a lengthy decision, Judge Peter Cahill didn't hold back, writing that the evidence of overwhelming amounts proves that Tou Thao was guilty. The judge added that he made a conscious decision, Tou Thao did, to actively participate in Floyd's death by holding back bystanders who were pleading with Officer Thao to help George Floyd while he lay dying under the knee of Derek Chauvin. Tou Thao's actions were front and center in the video that brought worldwide attention to this case in real time 3 years ago. But it's important for all of us to remember how much uncertainty surrounded the case against Derek Chauvin when his trial started in 2021. So tonight, Kent revisited that moment in time and reflected on our progress since with Dr. Uhuru Williams.
My name is Uhuru Williams. I'm a professor of history and founding director of the Racial Justice Initiative at the University of St. Thomas.
On the first day of the first trial stemming from the murder of George Floyd, it was hard to see the path forward in the glare of an international spotlight.
Minnesota right now, we're ground zero in a national conversation, in fact, a global conversation about racial justice. And that's important, and it's going to mark our future, not just in terms of the trial, but also in terms of the trail, what we leave behind in the aftermath of this moment.
2 years and 8 convictions later, Dr. Williams says that aftermath is just beginning to enter into the equation.
We're seeing some positives in terms of those trails, at least here, in terms of how the criminal justice system is at least trying to change.
In addition to the criminal convictions, Dr. Williams points to widespread reviews and reforms of use of force policies and local changes that include new MPD and public safety leadership and a consent decree aimed at addressing systemic issues.
I always remind people the consent decree is the first step. Oakland, California was under consent decree for 20 years. We'll be looking at and taking account of how well we've done for many years to come.
But even back on day one, he's believed it will take more than the scales of justice to measure our progress.
Most people are thinking about this as the trial of Derek Chauvin, but this is also the trial of this community. And ultimately, the verdict for us will be what we look back in 10 years and say about ourselves and how we've grown or haven't grown in that time.
A couple of years later, how much do you think we have grown?
It's a great question because I think we're still on trial. And it all comes down to the ways in which we as a community accept the responsibility that we're the jury, that we're not just those who are in a position to look at these things and say, you know, this is what happened, but to ask, what did we do? And it's our actions ultimately that will define the legacy of this moment. Every step matters, every contribution that people make.
In a very basic way, do you feel like we're taking steps in the right direction?
I see a lot of things happening in our community that bring hope to me, that lead me to be encouraged about what we could be, what we can be. And I think there are a lot of people who will be frustrated and say, you know, I don't feel that we've made substantive change, but looking inward also gives us an opportunity to say, what changes have I made? And sometimes people will be quite surprised to find that they are more attentive, that they're more concerned. They've actually learned more about issues. There's no magic solution here. It'll be 1,000 acts of kindness, 1,000 points of light that'll move us back in the direction of a just and equitable community. We are not passive bystanders. We have to recognize the ways in which we can be active agents for change. Those things, again, are collective, and they require people to make everyday decisions that help to create that light.
So true. The civic engagement that was already healthy in Minneapolis that I saw before the murder of George Floyd has only increased, and what I see now exponentially. So we do see it if we look hard enough. Dr. Uhuru Williams says he's grateful for this conversation on a day like today because change, we always have to be reminded as humans, change is incremental. And if we don't stop and think about our progress, it's easy to just say it's not changing fast enough and get tired, and then the momentum stops.